Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Woman Empowerment Series today with me, Farisha, and I'm very delighted and honored to have a very special guest with me today. I have two special guests, which is Sherry and Regina. Hi Sherry, hi Regina, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Yes, and it's a pleasure to have both of you on Woman Empowerment Series video podcast. So can you tell us more about yourself? Okay, start with Regina.
Hi, I'm Rejina Rahim. I'm the managing founder for Wahine Capital. So where do I start? I used to be in the capital markets for 25 years. Then I left investment management back in late 2021, where I decided that I wanted to do a lot more, something a lot more meaningful and impactful. And that's why I started Wahine with Sherry. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter. Unfortunately, I'm no longer a sister. So that would probably be me in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you, Regina. And how about you, Sherry? Can you introduce more about yourself?
Thanks. Hello, everyone. I'm the co-founder of Wahine Capital. I'm a single mother of two beautiful children who are the light of my life. I'm a lawyer by training and a human rights advocate by passion. I started my career in the Securities Commission. But later in life, I changed my profession 360 degrees and entered the women's rights NGO world. And that completely changed my worldview and opened up perspectives and insights. So also besides Wahine, I'm also doing a master's program on gender and sexuality and global politics with the University of London. I like to travel, read books, do yoga, spend time with friends and family, quite normal things outside work. That's me.
Okay, thank you, Regina. Thank you, Sherry, for the introduction. Can you tell us more about Wahine Capital?
So Wahine actually means woman in Maori or Hawaiian or Polynesian. The reason why we decided on that was actually started with me because both my children are based in New Zealand. I'm also married to someone who's half New Zealander. And basically, because I was very focused towards wanting to do with something to do with women, we wanted a name that was specifically dealing with women, but we didn't want to go with wanita or women in particular. And we liked the word W and wanted to sort of deal with anything to do with wellness, women, wealth, etc. So we thought W was quite a nice letter to start off with. And luckily for me, Sherry's a very easy co-founder, so she said, oh, yeah, why not? Some people think it's Arabic. It's not. So so we started this whole venture basically in 2020 during one of our walks during the COVID lockdowns. So Sherry and myself were very much aligned in terms of wanting to do a lot more for women. We're both members of the same NGO. And we thought, there's definitely a lot more that can be done. And having gone through the whole capital markets experience, I realized that there's such a gap between what's actually really happening on the ground and what's really happening in public markets. So, which is why we decided, okay, let's do this. And that's what W Vault is really all about, is actually jump-starting that process for a lot of women. It jump-started our recognition of the fact that there's a lot more that needs to be done in terms of financial security. And that's basically, a good introduction, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Wahine Capital is essentially about that, about how women can achieve financial security in the long term, and particularly, so the effort is yours. So we teach you how to go about it. with the intention that should anything, unexpected happen, deal with divorce or retirement or death or critical illness, should anything happen, that you are in a better position than you would be if you were completely unprepared. And I think that was the situation Rejina found herself to some extent when her sister passed away. So, that brought up those kind of, feelings of, I'm already dealing with my sister and now I have to deal with all her assets and whatnot. And in my case, I went through a divorce, which, I thought if I had the clarity of mind to plan ahead, should something like this happen, it would have been a much more easy process to go through, rather than dealing with the trauma of divorce and at the same time having to, plan for being a single mom and all that at the same time. So then we decided that it would apply to many women out there who should be looking at these kind of areas.
Yeah, I think the key thing here, Farisha, is that there's extensive studies that show basically death, divorce, retirement, and critical illness actually impacts women significantly more, and that can actually equate to a lot of financial vulnerability to women. So that's basically our starting point. Like the fact that a lot of these conversations are not happening for a lot of women and their partners.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Rejina. For the next question, what does woman empowerment mean to you in your own words?
Shall I start first? Well,
Please.
Well, women empowerment is, in simple terms, about elevating women's status equal to men and everyone else. But I think women empowerment involves a process. So, several things need to be in place. You need to have knowledge and tools, as well as options available to you at the same level of availability that men can have, because in some situations men have better access or easier to access certain things. But for example, in the case of education, this is a key area where Malaysia has achieved parity to some over equal parity. Health is another area, although reproductive health remains an issue. And you also need economic empowerment. This is an area that Wahine is working on. So things like the ability to access financing, even bank accounts. In some communities, it's a difficult, women don't have bank accounts, to own property, to inherit equally, to have equal role in family and in society. And importantly, women need to be relatively safe from the threat of violence. So, for example, domestic violence, sexual harassment, rape, or even online harassment. These are areas where women are very, the threat of it sometimes holds back women. Or if you face these kind of situations, then you have the ability to access the justice system equally, which is not necessarily the case in Malaysia right now. You have to have freedoms and an environment which is not discriminatory, so you can make the choices which are the best for yourself, or even to voice your opinion, to voice your viewpoints, to voice your objection without, pushback because of patriarchy or any other stereotypes that women have. You need to have support from your community, from your peer group, from your work environment. So at the end of the day, the issue of women empowerment is not about women, it's a societal awareness. Everyone has to, play a role so that the value of women is accepted and recognized, and women are given their due role in society.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. With that, okay, because that's a very okay. So that would be the expert's view of what women empowerment is. But for me, it's a lot more simpler. For me, is for women to be judged on their own personal merits, right? Individual merits. So if you want to measure success, it shouldn't be measured because you're a woman that you've done certain things. You should be able to really stand tall next to another man and say that, okay, you're a better, manager or whatever, based on the same sort of, criterias. I should not be seen as the best female MD ever. I should be the best MD, full stop, right? Success should not be gendered. So that's how I view female empowerment, that basically I want to be seen for who I am individually as a person, rather than as a woman or as a gender. Yeah.
Yeah. And the problem with Malaysia is because we have a society that states stereotypes, what women should behave like, what women should dress like, and all these things sometimes, color your actions, before you even act, you're thinking about it, what would people say, or something like that. So things like that also, create some inhibitions, which is problematic sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, and the next question. Who are the most inspiring women leaders that you admire in Malaysia and also internationally?
I thought about this long and hard, actually. I don't think I have one person in particular. If you're looking at Malaysia, a person who has had impact on me is the founder of Sisters in Islam, Zainah Anwar, simply because I had the opportunity to work very closely with her, and her vision for what she wants, and her passion, and her integrity, but at the same time she has such great humility. She can actually talk to anyone, from the 5-year-old child to an older person, from the richest to the poorest, and that really is something quite special. It's quite a skill that not many people have. So her connection with people is fantastic. So these are all things that really led me to reflect on myself and think, oh, how to do so that I can, you can connect better. Internationally, I think, there's so many, because I guess the thing that we do is we look at all the women who are at the top of their game, right? So and what challenges they've been through to get to the top of their game. So from, I don't know, the Williams sisters to Emma Watson to Beyonce, all these women have such great stories to tell, Malala and Greta Thunberg. So I don't really have one woman in particular. In my work in human rights, the characters, the personalities like Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Rosa Parks, fantastic women who have really put themselves forward and achieved so much for women all over the world. I mean, to be able to say that you've done that is a fantastic thing. Yeah.
Man, it's hard coming after Sherry. So Farisha, I don't want to sound like an echo chamber with Sherry, but yes, Zainah would definitely be someone that I admire truly. Having gotten to know her in the last few years. So I won't mention what she's achieved, because there's no need to introduce her achievements at all. But I think what I like to actually highlight is that you could be someone like, obviously everyone's talking about Michelle Yeoh at the moment, or, actresses like Viola Davis, etc. But I think we should also take recognition of the fact that normal women, they deserve to be recognized, because, for a lot of women, they're the ones who are juggling families. Where in Malaysia, we tend to be, because we're an Asian country, we tend to have that family infrastructure that can actually help us. But there's a lot of women out there that they just after giving birth and all that, they're working, they're running businesses, having to cook and clean and deal with aging parents and all that. That to me is fantastic. So when people ask me about how I went through as a career woman, I actually acknowledge my mate that used to work with me for the last 20 years. Unfortunately, she's gone home as well. But yeah, those are the people who have made life and, working women lives a lot more bearable and possible, right? So I think it would be, those women would be my admiration would go to them, actually.
Yeah, I think along that line, I think we also, for me, I also came across in my work, I also came across a lot of survivors of violence, whatever sort of violence. And the way they manage that and just continue with life, for whatever reason. I mean, the strength in them is really something, quite admirable. Sometimes you wonder, if you were put in the same situation, whether you can, come out of it. Some of them start to become activists in the area that they were affected. It's really quite amazing what women can achieve, actually, if they have the right people around them to show them the way, if they have their community to prop them up. Women are very powerful forces.
Yeah, thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Regina. And I have to agree with you, Sherry, because the bouncing back from the difficulties and adversities is not easy. Yeah, and it's relatable to anything, whether it's abuse or losing a loved one. Like Regina mentioned, you lost your sister. Your sister passed away. In my case, my father passed away 7 years ago. So I was in a depression for 1 year after my father passed away. So, every people deal with grief differently. So I think, at the end of the day, for me, I believe in this quote, this special quote: be kind to everyone, because everybody is fighting a battle that we don't know about. Everybody goes through challenges. Everybody diuji, different ujian, and we never know. So in my case, it's my dad, because I was very close to him, very, very close to him. And when he passed away, it's like half of my world is half of my heart. My heart is gone. So for me, bouncing back too, it's not easy. You just have to move forward, and of course it's difficult. A couple of years it's quite difficult. You cry, you grieve, everything, but then you have to know that this is all, Allah's plan, and
It's
we
part
have to be
of life, right?
Yeah, it's part of life, and we have to reda. We have to reda, and we know that he is in a better place. Yeah. So for me, I think all ladies, we need to, be strong, and most important thing is we have to support and empower each other, and that is how we grow.
Yeah. I think for women, you get a lot of strength from, your sisterhood, your friends, your girlfriends, especially, because I think women can have special kind of conversations and connections which are quite deep and impactful. Might be a bit difficult to have those kind of conversations with the opposite sex, but that's a very powerful tool, like a very powerful, so that's why we call it a sisterhood, because it does project you further. Yeah,
it's all about supporting and empowering each other, kan? That is important. Yeah, and then everybody goes through different challenges. Everybody goes through different ujian. So everybody goes through different, path of life. So some people have it, like challenges
We're
A.
not created equal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so we have come to the final question. So the last question for today is, what is your advice to all the women out there?
Well, I think here we want to introduce W Vault, which is what we were talking about in terms of what Wahine is planning to elevate financial security of women. But essentially, the idea is to be able to put yourself in a better place at every stage in your life. I think, whether you're young and about to get married, whether you just had a child, whether, you're going through a divorce, whether you're in retirement and so on. Not just for yourself, but I think if you are in a better place, then if you have children or family or your husband, everyone will be in a better place as well. So I'll pass it to Ina to talk a bit about W Vault.
Thanks, Sherry. Okay, so, Parisha, you need to allow me to share my screen.
Okay, you can share your screen now. Okay.
Okay, hang on. Right, so this is us. I hope you can see my screen. WVO is basically a personal life manager. So to put it simply, it's a secure digital repository and life planner. So where you can put your important information like your bank account details, your life insurance policy, your grantana, your wasiat, whatnots. It is to help you, design your life better. It's designed by women for women because women are at risk of losing 50% of our assets or income from death or divorce. So because unplanned life events like divorce, critical illness, dementia, and death can actually lead to financial vulnerability. And for a lot of Malaysians, we're very bad at savings, right? So most of us don't have enough EPF savings, etc. So this is basically where you start. Our solution, WVolt, basically allows you to digitize and act as a backup for your important information. It's secure, it helps you to organize, and it's convenient. So once you sign up, it's basically a 3-step process. You get a snapshot of your life, making it a lot easier for you to plan ahead. So let's say this is Kara, right? So this is our persona. So Kara basically has put everything in. So she's put her bank account details, her EPF, SOCSO, insurance, and all that. And she realizes that she needs more medical coverage, for instance. So this is where with the dash, I need to diversify my retirement or my investments. She's also looking for some Sharia solutions. So this is where, we're different lah. So as an added bonus as well, we also provide our users free micro consults to our list of experts. So we've got a clinical psychologist there, we've got lawyers, we've got ex-fund managers, private bankers, a Web3 expert. So basically anyone and everyone who can basically help Kiara figure out how she can actually plan ahead for her life. And so that's basically myself and Sherry, So, essentially you just need to go to wahine.wcapital.asia to try it out, basically. Yeah. So My advice to women is that get yourself organized, and you need to be able to really look into, demanding for what you want, right? To know your rights, to know that there's always a choice for a better future. So that would be my advice for the young women out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Get your finances in order. But also don't forget about yourself. Take time for yourself as well. A lot of women don't do that. Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you, Sherry. Self-love and self-care, very important. So women, we need to
Yeah.
self-love and self-care. And of course, we need financial planning. This is really, really important.
Yeah.
And women today need to be financially independent, and we need to have a bit of a financial knowledge. And if you want to know more about Wahine, where can they reach out to you? Email or on social media?
Yeah. We're on
Yeah,
social
so-
media.
Yeah, so you can find us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, as well as Instagram. Yeah.
But if you go to our website, all our links are there. So you can be connected with us. Do drop us a line if there's any queries or interest, or you're not clear about what certain parts of W Vault is. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's how we view W Vault. We view W Vault as self-care, because also in a lot of situations, maybe your husband or your father might own the assets, but if you care for yourself, then you start planning it, even though you're not the owner, right? So this is part of the conversations that we want to have in Wahine Capital.
Okay, thank you so much, Sherry and Regina, for the sharing session about Wahine and W Vault. And for those of you who would like to check out more about Wahine, you can check out their website and also their social media platform. And before we end the Women Empowerment video podcast, do you have anything else that you would like to share with our viewers?
One last thing would be, please try us out. It's free for the moment. So it's https / and it's wahine.wcapital.asia. Give it a go.
Okay, thank you, Regina. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you for being in Women Empowerment Series video podcast. Till then, stay safe, take care. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everyone.